Hello there guys, it's your boy Clown here, back again in another video, and today I'm going to do What If Deku Was the Ghost Rider, part 10, hope you enjoy it. First off, thank you for waiting, and if you have already seen my stories, and if you check my community tab, you know what happened. But now everything is fixed, hopefully. Thank you once again for waiting and understanding, and let us begin this part. So like always, a small recap is needed because last part was like a month ago. Well, I was focusing on Abandon, so that's why. Anyway, so last part we covered the finals with Deku going against Shinso and he won, revealing that his Ghost Rider power make him immune to Shinso's quirk. Then Kendo have her fight against Bakugo, and this time Bakugo is more, I would say a bastard, but more like a villain in this What If. He still have that grudge that Deku saved him, so he let out his anger at Kendo because she's in class 1B and he's class 1A, so she's an extra for him. Speaking of extra, during that fight, she did put up a fight, but Bakugo did went overboard and that caused Deku to get furious. So after releasing a blood loss wave that all the stadium felt it, he took Kendo to the infirmary, and in his way back, because he have his semi-finals, Deku have his talk with Endeavor and Deku make it clear that he doesn't like him at all. After that he have his fight against Todoroki and he pushed him to his limits and he won at the end. Deku won, I mean. And after asking permission from Todoroki, Deku call out for Endeavor and tell him to fight him or he will reveal his past. Jumping hints, only Endeavor catch on that, and Aizawa. But before they fought, Aizawa tell him to calm down and they still have their finals. Deku stand down, for now, so he get ready to fight Bakugo. And right before they start, Bakugo insult Kendo and Deku at the same time. So what is the accurate way of describing this? Oh, I get it. Basically, Bakugo get the overhaul treatment. But this time Deku only used 20% because Aizawa told him to hold back. After that, he called for Endeavor to fight him. I'll let some of you realize I basically copied the Vegeta vs Perfect Cell fight. Well, some of it. And throughout this fight, Deku started humiliating Endeavor, and Deku showcased that his flames are on par with Endeavor's, but his physical strength is beyond his. So after a bit, Endeavor had enough and he used his permanence burn on Deku, and Deku created a new technique, his held Sai, and he was able to cut through Endeavor's attack, slashing his shoulder, so he dropped to the ground. Then Deku grabbed a mic and explained why he's doing this, revealing Endeavor's past and what he did to his family. And Deku somewhat lose it after this. He powered to his max, he was covered with flames head to toe, but before he can hurt Endeavor anymore, Aizawa was able to calm him down. And after one more speech, you know, the final nail on the coffin, Deku left leaving Endeavor there, and I think that's it with the summary, so let's begin. So after the fight, Endeavor was taken to recovery gear because, you know, he was badly hurt, and some people start asking if what Deku told them was the truth. Speaking of Deku, after the fight he wanted to change in the rooms or the waiting room because he need to calm down. He closed his eyes and when he opened them he found himself in an empty void and Zaratos is in front of him. I have a question, Zaratos. Go ahead, what do you want? Are you really the same Zaratos that John told me about? Because he told me that Zaratos or the Ghost Rider is a bit insane, even though that you are affecting my emotions. Beyond that, I don't think so. Well, you're right about that, Zaratos replied. I changed. I am not the same Ghost Rider that dwelled in Blaze. I see, so that's the reason you helped me using that bald guy with black whip. Zaratos nodded. Deku was going to ask him something, then suddenly he woke up because someone shook him. He opened his eyes and saw it's Kendo. Hi Itsuka. Yeah, hi. Look, I know, it was reckless. Point taken, but I had to do it. I understand, Kendo replied, shocking Deku. Really? She nods. It's just still a bit hard to believe that I was training with you. I did not know that you are this powerful, both in strength and with fire. Well, I was busting my butt off the past 2 weeks, that's why. What do you mean? She asked, and Deku proceeded to tell her that on top of his training with her doing and after school, he was training alone, and he was pushing his body to the absolute limits. Kendo was both shocked and a bit upset or angry. Shocked that he was able to train this much, and upset that he left her behind. How were you able to do that? She asked him. And you're still doing your side job? What side job? Deku asked. You know what I mean, Mr. Ryder? Deku's eyes widened and he sighed. Busted, Deku replied. Really? You're not going to deny it? Deku shook his head. I already felt bad enough not telling you that. I won't lie, not anymore. But how did you figure it out? And for how long have you known? Actually, just now. I had my suspicions before. Like you are the only guy that I know that can use flames. And on top of that, when you go serious, both of you, or you and the rider, act almost the same. But since he's literally a skull on fire and you're still human, I still have some doubts. But during your fight against Endeavor, I saw something. For a split second, I saw a skull on fire. Your skull on fire. And before you ask, because I know that you will, I don't think that the others were able to see it because for some reason I was able to stand your heat a bit more than the others. And I think it's because of our training together, I was able to get some resistance to fire, or I simply just get used to the temperature, I don't know. Deku sighed. Well, that's a relief that you are the only one that know. So when were you going to tell me about this? About you being the rider? When the time was right. And when that is, I don't know, Deku replied, looking down. I didn't want you to think that I'm a stalker or something like that. Because what are the odds that someone that saved you, you suddenly meet up after like a few days, and you're going in the same high school? Kendo agreed with him. That's what normal people think, but she wouldn't. Even though I'm a bit upset that you kept that away from me, I can see why you did that. Then Deku looked at her. But why are you upset? Kendo, without uttering a word, she pulled him into a hug, and that surprised Deku. He was going to speak up, but Kendo cut him off. Why did you not tell me about your past? You went through a lot, alone. I could have helped you, but you didn't tell me. Deku hugged her back and apologized. It's just, I know that you have your own problems to deal with, so I didn't want to put mine on your plate. Kendo shouted at him and tell him that she's his friend, and he will not put more on her plate. He already helped her by accepting her the way she is. The least thing that she can do is help him. So please, Izuku, let me help you. You're not alone. Not anymore. You always will have me. Deku teared up a bit, hugged her tightly and thanks her. And after a couple of seconds, he calmed down. He thanks her. They kept looking at each other, then they heard a knock on the door. They quickly separate. Come in, Deku said, and it's All Might. Oh, All Might. Hello, young Midoriya, young Kendo. What are you doing here? They ask him. Well, to check on you. How are you feeling? You know about your outburst with my Ghost Rider powers? Yes, I know. All Might's eyes widen. Young Midoriya. Yes, All Might, don't worry about it. She figured it out, like Aizawa did. I see. Then All Might give Deku a look and tell him, should we tell her about the rest? All Might give him a look, you know, the same way they did in the movie. You sure? Deku nodded. She already know about my power. It's just a matter of time before she know about the rest. And it will be better if I told her myself. Well, if you think that she can keep a secret, sure. Deku thanks him. Then Kendo cut them off. Why are you two looking at each other like that? Deku looked at Kendo and told her, Kendo, can you keep a secret? Or two? And these secrets are not the type that you can share. Because if word got out, some people might get hurt. Kendo got serious and nodded. Then All Might proceeded to power down to his skinny form. Kendo was shocked. Then they proceeded to tell her about One for All and Deku's powers. And after hearing that, Kendo understand why Deku changed a bit. She's not complaining, by the way. And why he was angry at Endeavor and you know the rest. And after a moment to collect herself, she looked at Deku and tell him, you sure you're okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Why are you asking? It's because I know it's hard. You've been bullied, then you have a power that you get from an angel devil thing, and you have All Might's powers. That's a lot of pressure. You sure you're okay? Deku smiled and nodded. Don't worry, I'm fine. You sure? Don't lie to me, Kendo replied. In a more serious tone, Deku chuckled a bit. Yeah, I'm fine. And don't worry, I will not lie to you. Not anymore. Like you told me, I always had you. And after Kendo heard that, she blushed a bit. Deku does the same after he heard what he said. Meanwhile, All Might is smiling because he knows that Kendo is a great person. Because most people's reaction will be like, whoa, you have All Might's powers? That's great. Same goes for his other powers, but she, on the other hand, was concerned about his well-being. Then All Might cut their conversation short and told them that they should go back because it's time for them to get their medals. They nod. After that they had the ceremony. Deku obviously got the first place, Bakugo the second, but because he's knocked out, he's not there, and the third place is shared between Kendo and Todoroki. So All Might show up, give his speech, give them their medals, and after that, they change. Deku was going to head out with Kendo, then he was called to the infirmary. He questioned why, but he made his way there. Kendo was with him. When they entered, they saw Recovery Girl and All Might sitting there, and they asked him to sit down. So Recovery Girl explained that when she was treating Endeavor, the wound on his left shoulder refused to heal. Her quirk did not work on it at all. She was able to patch him the old-fashioned way, but still, what was that? Well, that was actually my true flames. True flames, they ask? Deku nod. You could say that my flames have two aspects. The normal flames and the true hellfire flames. And the reason I call it hellfire, it's because if it burns you, that place that gets burned by it will not be able to heal. No regeneration or quirk that lets you heal people will help you with that. And upon hearing that, they were shocked that Deku have this much power. That's dangerous power you have, Deku nod. He was lucky that he was able to avoid it. And no, I was not going to kill him, but badly hurt him. Because like I said earlier, I'm getting sick and tired of people like him. Because people like him doesn't deserve the title of a hero. And if the government will not do anything about it, I will. But what do you say? You already exposed him. And do you really think that will affect him in any way? Please. Yes, the people will hate him, well, more than usual. But the government or the Hero Safety Committee will not do anything about it. They will tell people that they are doing an investigation, but they will not remove him because they need his power to keep the peace. The best thing that they will give us is they will put him on a watch list or they will limit his authorities, but that's it. And if you think I'm wrong, please correct me. Recovery Girl and All Might stood silent. He's right. Thought so. Anyway, I'm tired. I need to go home. And Deku turned around and started walking away. But before he exits, by the way, I am not going to use my power on anyone or any other villain. I made a promise and I intend to keep it. Then him and Kendo walk out. They get on his bike and they start driving. And like he expected, there is a lot of reporters that want to talk to him, but Deku was able to speed past them. So they made their way toward Kendo's house, and in the way, Kendo asked him, Izuku, that John guy, was he the previous user of your power, the Ghost Rider power? Deku nodded. At first it was weird having someone inside my head, but I grew attached to him. It was always only my mom and me. So it was nice having another adult, or to put it mildly, another man that I can look up to. I have always looked up at All Might, but because he's so far, I did not expect too much of that. But with Blaze, except you and my mom, he was one of the first people that actually encouraged me to become stronger. Heck, he's even the person that gave me advice on how to deal with Bakugo. So it was pretty hard saying goodbye. Kendo hugged him tightly and tell him, it's okay, I'm pretty sure, like he told you, he's watching over you. In a less creepy way. Deku chuckled a bit. Maybe you're right. So Deku dropped her home. And when he arrived, Deku was a bit worried because he did make a scene in the sport festival, but to his surprise, her parents were grateful. He did stand up for Kendo, and they told him if they were in the same boat, they would have done the same. Deku thanks them for understanding and made his way back to his house. When he arrived, his mom, of course, was worried. But after Deku was able to calm her down, she told him about his past. Why did he not tell her? Deku looked down. Since I am, well, a late bloomer, I know that I caused you a lot of trouble. And I didn't want to add more to that. That's why I kept it to myself. His mom hugged him tightly and told him next time he will tell her because she will always have his back. Deku thanks her, and while you're asking what happened to Bakugo, well, after he woke up, he found out that his mom is waiting for him with Aizawa, Nizu, and All Might in tow. She asked him, is he okay? He replied by his attitude, "Tss, what do you want, hag?" And she proceeded to punch him. Why did you do that to Izuku? He did nothing to you, so why? Bakugo just scoffed and looked to the side. Young Bakugo, All Might speak up, might tell me why you having this much hatred toward young Izuku. He did nothing to you, and even after all you did to him, he still saved you from the sludge villain. Bakugo got angry and told him to shut it, that not always look down on him. Look down on you? When? From the time I was watching you guys, he always kept his distance away from you. You are the one that always go after him. Aizawa speak up. You always taunt him and call him names. Him on the other hand, doesn't even care. In normal situation, I will have you expelled immediately and that get the attention of Bakugo. But you're lucky. Nizo told me to calm down and he will decide your fate. Even though I already made my decision. The Nizo walk up to him and tell him, Bakugo Katsuki, for the time being, you are suspended until further notice. So since you already healed, get out from UA. Now, Bakugo grinned his teeth. He was going to speak up, but his mom dragged him out. You already caused enough problems, Katsuki, so shut it. So they made their way out. Of course, the press started asking them questions, but they decided to stay silent. And they made their way back to their house. So upon the reveal, people started doing some digging on both his past and endeavors. And like they expected, the Hero Safety Committee are trying their best to keep Endeavor working. Unbeknownst to them, there is someone with black hair and blue eyes are cheering at top of his lungs upon hearing the news of Endeavor. So needless to say, Deku's middle school is in deep trouble. They try to contact Deku and tell him to basically forgive them, and Deku simply tells them, I will forgive you, but in one condition. Do you have a time machine? So I can tell my younger self to not enroll into your middle school? They sheepishly reply, no. So that's my answer. Screw off. Then he hang up. Then Deku got a letter. He opened it and he found a ticket to Island, and he can read that he can take a +1 with him. He showed it to his mom and she tell him, why don't you take Kendo with you? You can consider this a date. Deku blush. Date? His mom smirk. What? You're going to tell me that you are just friends? Well, yeah, we are just friends. Sadly, Deku reply. I heard that, his mom tell him. So why don't you take her there and tell her how you feel? Deku blush and did not utter a word. I will take that as a yes. Deku just sigh. Then they heard a knock on the door. Deku opened. He saw Mitsuki, Bakugo's mom. He welcomed her. Then he saw Bakugo and he immediately got enraged. His eyes flashed orange for a second. Mitsuki saw that and told him to calm down. I'm just here to talk. Deku's eyes returned to normal and he let them in. He calls for his mom. They sit down on a couch. They get at each other. Then there was an awkward silence. Then Mitsuki speak up. Okay, I'm going straight to the point. I'm here to talk about what my brat of a son did and the misunderstanding. Miss what? You're kidding me. There is not a misunderstanding here. You know what? I'm done. I'm leaving. Deku is going to get up, but Inko and Mitsuki stop him and tell him to wait a second. We need to talk. He was going to brush them off, but because of his mom, he sit down and tell them to make it quick. Just being around him make me sick. What? Bakugo said. You heard me, you scumbag. Calm down, both of you, the adult said. We're here to talk. Talk? Deku said. Okay, let's talk. Come on, Katsuki. Speak up. Tell her what you did to me. I'll fact check. Bakugo did not utter a word. So what now? Cat got your tongue? Come on, you're always a loudmouth. So come on, speak! And that shocked both Inko and Mitsuki. Izuku, what happened to you? You're always such a nice kid. You're never this aggressive. Nice kid? When is the last time that you saw me? Yeah. And why I'm this aggressive? Let me think. Maybe getting betrayed by the person that I thought was my best friend? Maybe getting bullied by him since I was 5 years old? Maybe pushing people away from me by scaring them? Or making them join into his bullying? Maybe asking for help from the teachers, from everyone around me, and I get none? Except from humiliation for even trying to be a hero or anything? And all of this did not happen once or twice. It happened every single day for a decade. He even pushed me to the point that I think of just ended it. So tell me, does this give you an answer why I'm acting like this? Both Inko's and Miski's eyes widen, but Inko's are full with tears. She hugged Deku and she started apologizing profusely for failing him. Deku hugged her back. It's not your fault, Mom. You did your best. The only one at fault here is that bastard over there. So that's it. I'm done talking. You heard what you want, so leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with you. So, Auntie, please leave and take him with you. Mitsuki turned to Bakugo, faced full with rage, and asked him why. Why did you do all of this? Bakugo speak up and tell him because he's always looking down on him, and that angers Deku. Looking down on you? Since when? Ever since we were a kid, Bakugo speak up. Since you were a kid? What do you mean? I never once looked down on you. Heck, I look up to you. Yes, I did look up to All Might, but you were in my life. I did always admire your courage. And how did you pay me back? By bullying me? I thought of you like my brother, and you betrayed me for something as stupid as a quirk. But why am I even wasting my breath? Just leave my house. I'm done talking to you, and I'm certainly done listening to you. And after Bakugo heard that, he felt bad. Izuku, wait, zip it. I don't want to hear anything from you. Please just... I said zip it! And when Deku said that, his eyes turned orange, black wave come from his back, and it's covered with flames. And the entire house, the entire neighborhood is feeling the heat wave that's coming from Deku. Deku was going to attack him until he heard a new voice inside his head. Calm down, kid. Who are you? You can guess who I am. One of the previous users of One for All? You're right. I'm actually the first user, but that doesn't matter. Calm down, kid. I know your hate, so trust me, the best thing that you can do right now is calm down. What do you mean you know my hate? Well, since you consider this guy your brother, my own brother locked me up and forced a quirk on me to turn me into a villain. So trust me, I know your hate. And hear my advice, calm down. Take a deep breath and calm down. Deku listened to him and calmed down. Black Whip vanished and his eyes returned to normal. Deku closed his eyes, then he opened them and looked straight at Bakugo. Listen here carefully, Katsuki. I'm going to say it once. Stay away from me and do not even think of hurting the people that I care about. Because you know that I was holding back during our fight. And that was because I promised Aizawa that I will. But next time, I will not hold back. And newsflash, the power that I used against Endeavor was not even my full strength. But next time against you, I will use every single of it. Auntie, then he looked at Mitsuki, I have nothing against you. But your son and I are not friends. And we are not enemies, as long as he stay away from me. This is the best thing that you will get from me. And one more word out of you, well, you know what will happen. Mitsuki saw the look on his face and she knew that he's serious. So she sighed and thanked them for his time, and she dragged Bakugo back to her house. And after they left, Deku let out sigh and sit down on the couch. You're okay? His mom asked him. Yeah, I am. Someone give me an advice on how to deal with his type of people, and so far it did work. His mom smiled a bit and tell him, I'm glad to hear that. And the mom, Deku speak up, don't beat yourself over it, okay? It's not your fault. You did your best, I know that. Inko tear up a bit and she nod. Deku smile and hug his mom. So later that day, Deku met up with Kendo. They talked for a bit. Then he told her about his talk with Bakugo and his mom, and his interaction with the first user of One for All. I see. By the way, don't you find it weird that there is someone inside your head, or right now, like 7 people inside your head? Well, Itsuka, I learned that the best way to deal with that situation is to not think about it, and just accept it the way it is. Fair point, she replied. By the way, Itsuka, do you have any plans after we are done with our internships? No? Why are you asking? It's because of this, and Deku showed her the ticket. Since I did technically won the sport festival, I was given this ticket, and like you can see, I can take an +1 with me. So you're free to go with me? Kendo blush, you sure? Deku nod. Okay, I was free anyway, so sure. Deku smiled. Good. And that made Kendo blush even more. After that, Deku take Kendo back to her house and fast forward to the next day. So before you ask about Deku's middle school, the same thing that happened in Abandoned is happening here. But this time the press are also intrigued, to say the least, about Endeavor's situation. So even though Deku's middle school are getting blasted, they are not the main focus of the media. So fast forward when Deku is in his class, like the anime, Aizawa showed them the results of the sport festival and how many offers everyone get, and to the shock of no one, Deku got the first place, then Todoroki. But this time Todoroki did not get an offer from Endeavor's agency because you know why. And after that Aizawa speak up and tell them it's time to pick your hero names. Then Ida raise his hand and tell him what happened to Bakugo. Aizawa sigh and tell him what happened, with him being suspended for the time being. They understand, and Aizawa tell them it's time to pick your hero name. So the same thing happened as the anime, everyone have their own names, or the same names. And for Deku, well, we already know that he's going to pick the Ghost Rider as his name. Everyone is a bit weirded out. They tell him the Ghost Rider? That's a bit weird, they reply. Then they ask him why did he choose this name, even though it's awfully familiar or similar to the rider. Deku smile a bit and tell them, well, this name means a lot to me. Someone I know and someone dear to me used this name before me. He helped me a lot with my powers, and whenever I need someone to lean on and someone to talk to, he was there. The class smile and tell him he's a nice guy. Deku smile. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He was. Deku nod. Even though he have a smile on his face, he's clearly sad. He was the type of guy that believe if you are a hero, you will do right. You will always prioritize people's safety first. No matter what is the challenge, you always face it head on. Then Deku chuckled. Even though he was a bit crazy sometimes, he was an honest good guy. That's why I decided to pick his name, the Ghost Rider. Everyone cheer for Deku. After that they had some free time to think which agency they should go to, and for this I actually don't know because Gran Torino already taught Deku how to use One for All, or Deku already knows, so I'm pretty sure that Gran Torino will not interfere with him. Plus since he knows he's the Ghost Rider, he knows that he have a lot of experience, so there is literally nothing else he can teach him. But while Deku is going through his offers, he saw one that catches attention. Sir Night Eye, All Might's last sidekick. Of course Deku is still a bit of a fanboy, so he immediately accepted, and during the lunch break he talked with Kendo and told her where he's going. She was happy for him, plus she found that side of him, the geek side of him, a bit cute. And after that he met up with All Might and tell him the news. All Might was a bit worried. Deku saw that and asked him what's wrong. So All Might tell him that right after he decided to give him One for All, he talked with Night Eye, and Night Eye did not actually like that idea, giving the power to a first year. So let's just say that he has someone that think he's more worthy of One for All, and I think the reason he called you young Midoriya, it's because he wants you to give it up. Deku smile and tell him, don't worry All Might, he can try to make me give up One for All, but he won't. Because if he tell me that I don't make any progress using One for All, I will just tell him that in just a few months I was able to go from 5% to 45%. So I'm pretty sure by the end of my first year, I will be able to use 100% without tapping to my Ghost Rider form. I guess you're right, All Might reply. He's still worried. Deku saw that. What's wrong? It's nothing, young Midoriya. Don't worry about it. Just be careful doing your internship, okay? Deku nod. So fast forward to next day and everyone went to their internship. So when Deku arrived, he was a bit nervous. So when he entered, he saw someone walking toward him. Mirio. So you finally show up. Who are you? Deku replied. Alright, I'm Mirio. I'm a third year in UA. I'm also one of the big three. The big three? You mean the strongest in UA? Mirio nod. So follow me, let's go meet Sir Night Eye. Deku nod. So they made their way toward Night Eye's office. When they enter, Deku thinking for the opportunity, and Night Eye asks Mirio to step out, he need to talk with him. Mirio nod and walk outside. So I will be honest with you, kid, Night Eye said, then Deku cut him off. I already know you don't like the fact that a first year have One for All. So I'm going to tell you this. With all due respect, you can try, but you will never change my mind. All Might choose me, so One for All is staying with me. And so far I think I'm doing quite a good job at using it. How much you can use? Well, I only have it for a few months and I can use 45%. Better than expected, but still. I still think that Mirio is better suited at using it. Well, let's agree to disagree. Night Eye scoff a bit and tell himself he will be a tough one to crack. After that he called Mirio and Bubble Girl and tell Mirio to take Deku on patrol to teach him the ropes. Mirio nod and Dio exit. And during the patrol, Mirio remarked that Deku already know how to patrol somewhat. Just like he doesn't leave himself open too often, and he know how to search for bad guys. So that led him to ask how did he know that. Well, I was training with All Might and Gran Torino before the sport festival, and I did ask them quite a lot of questions on how to be a hero. Same for Mr. Aizawa. Miro is impressed. I see. Good thinking. Anyway, since I cannot call you by your name, I should call you by your hero name. So what is it? Oh, it's the Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider? It's a long story. Okay, mine is Leminian. And he tell him why. Deku smile, that's a good enough reason to have that name. Mirio smiled back, then they continue their patrol, and when they returned, Mirio still give Deku the tips on how to work in an agency, how to impersonate villains, the reports, how to deal with the police, everything. And to his surprise, Deku catch on pretty quick. And after they're done, they sit down and Mirio asks him about his hero name. Why did he pick it? Deku looks sad a bit and he tell him why. And after he's done, Mirio smile and tell him he will be happy that you choose that. Deku smile, look into the sky, I hope so. Then suddenly Deku got a phone call from Kendo, he pick up, they talk for a bit, they tell what happened in their internships, and after she tell him about her commercial break, Deku giggle a bit because he know that Kendo doesn't like that type of things. Kendo get a bit upset and tell him to share it. Sorry, but knowing you, it's almost like drinking poison. You can say that again. So I guess that trip after our internship will be more useful to you than to me. Kendo blush upon hearing that. Yeah, the trip. I need to go. I think they are calling for me for another photo shoot or something. Good luck. Gee, thanks. Then she hang up. Then Mirio asked him who was that. She's my friend from class 1B. Kendo is her name if you know her. Oh, you mean that orange hair girl? The one that can make her hand bigger? Deku nod. And she's just your friend? Deku nod. Really? I really thought from the way you acted in the sport festival that she was your girlfriend. Deku cough a bit. Mirio smirk and tell him, let me guess, you have feelings for her. I might have, Deku reply, avoiding Mirio's eye contact. Mirio laugh a bit and tell him, well, I have never dated someone before, so I guess good luck. Yeah, thanks. After that, time skip the next day, and this time while doing their meeting, Night Eye tell them to be careful, just in case if they encounter Shisaki. So like last time, the duo start going on patrol, then suddenly a little girl bumping into Deku and it's Eri. She was a bit frightened when Deku approached her, but Deku calmed her down. Then a man speak up, it's Overhaul obviously, and tell Eri to come back. And when he said that, Eri hugged Deku tightly and tell him to not go. Then Deku tell him, what are you doing to this girl? She's covered with bandages. Overhaul lie and Deku can see right through him. And by the way guys, Overhaul did remember Deku from the sport festival, so he know that even though he's a kid, he cannot take him lightly. Then Deku tell him, well, just in case, let's take her to the hospital to do a quick checkup. Overhaul is visibly upset and Mirio catch on that. He put his hand on Deku's shoulder and he squeeze a bit. Deku just push him off or remove his hand and give him a look that basically tell him, either you with me or share it. Then Overhaul speak up and tell him he already did, so come on Eri, let's go. Then he turned around and tried to remove his gloves. Eri saw that and she was going toward him, but Deku catch her and hold her tightly and told her, you don't have to go back, not anymore, he will not hurt you. And that very moment Overhaul put his hand on the ground and fired some spikes at Deku. Mirio was going to push him out of the way, then he saw that Deku was prepared for this. He already power up 20% and easily break them. Really? A sneak attack? That trick will not work on me, Overhaul. Overhaul get angry and fire more spikes at them. Mirio dodge and went straight toward him, and Deku meanwhile protect Eri from them. Eri, you don't have to worry, we will stop him. And I will save you. Eri tear up a bit that someone finally is able to save her and he will not die. So Mirio charged at Overhaul and punched him in the guts, then flying a bit. He tried to hurt him, but because of his quirk, he's basically untouchable. So rather of wasting his time on him, he focused on Eri and Deku. but each time he tried to hit him, Deku easily break his spikes, and on top of that he's way too fast for him. So then Overhaul start using the dirty tactics and calling Eri a curse and to come back before he kill them. Eri tear up, and that angers Deku. He charged at him and punched him in his arm, breaking it, and that also sent him crashing into the ground. Listen here, you bastard. If you call this little girl a curse ever again, I will send you straight to hell. And when Deku said that, his eyes turned orange, and for some reason that made Overhaul afraid. And then a gunshot was heard, forcing Deku to dodge. And it's revealed that Overhaul's sidekicks, or the 8 pieces of death, are there to assist Overhaul. So Mirio quickly called for Night Eye and tell him the situation. And sir, make it quick, I think we need backup. But before he can finish his sentence, Deku punched Rikiya and Kendo so hard that he knocked them both out. And that attack created a shockwave that pushed Avon away from them, and it covered the area with smoke. Avon started looking at the smoke, and they saw 2 glowing orange eyes, and they started shaking in fear. I don't care how much backup you have, Overhaul, you're done. Hurting this little girl is the last mistake that you will ever do. So the rest try to attack Deku, but him and Mirio easily defeat them all. And by the way guys, since they are on the street, Mirio tell everyone to evacuate as fast as they can, and he was lucky that he said that, because when the duo defeat the rest of the 8 pieces of death, Overhaul was left with no other options, so he fused with Rikiya and Kendo, forming that massive Overhaul monster that we saw in the anime, but this time because he have Kendo in it. Oh, I just realized I'm calling him Kendo, I mean the rapper. By the way, his name is Kendo, I'm not wrong. The rapper is his villain name. So Monster Overhaul start wreaking havoc around the block or city, and because the fight just happened like a few minutes ago, there's still some civilians around them. And because Monster Overhaul is huge, when he used his quirk he was almost going to hurt some civilians, but Deku used Black Whip to grab them and put them as far away as possible. Then he landed beside Mirio. He's causing too much damage. Mirio tell Deku, I know. Deku reply, then he smirk. So let's make sure that he will not cause any more. So Deku charged at Overhaul, turning his left foot into Ghost Rider form, and he kicked him using 100%, sending him flying up in the sky. Mirio is shocked. He did see Deku's strength during the sport festival, but this is on a whole other level. Then Deku gave Eri to Mirio. He gave her a warm smile and told her, I will be back. Then he rocketed toward Overhaul, going full speed using 40% of One For All, colliding with him, creating a shockwave, well more like a wave of flame than a shockwave. Overhaul screamed in pain. Then he created multiple arms to try to grab Deku. Deku saw that he started punching the hands away or just destroying them completely, using sheer force or just his flames. And soon after that, Overhaul realized that he's losing a lot of meat. Literally, Deku is completely erasing his limbs. Then Deku starts speaking. You like hurting little girl, huh? Answer me, you scumbag! Deku pulled his right hand back and fired Hairburn at him. Overhaul screamed in pain and he tried to hit Deku, but to no avail. Then Deku started punching Overhaul repeatedly, shockwave after shockwave, punch after punch. Overhaul is losing ground, and at the same time, Night Eye just show up and he saw Deku fighting Overhaul. He asked Mirio what happened and Mirio informed him. Then Night Eye started thinking, he just with one kick sent him up in the sky? That's not 45%, that should be 100%. Did he lie to me? I will ask him later. So after a minute of this, Deku had enough and he grabbed Overhaul using Black Whip and threw him up in the sky. I will end it right here, right now, Overhaul. Deku extend his limbs away from his body. Flames start pouring out of him. Then he yelled, Hell Nova. And a massive wave of flame went out from Deku and goes straight to Shisaki, erasing the majority of his body. Then Deku used Black Whip to grab him and throw him to the ground, where it's already destroyed. You know, to limit the damage. So he fly down, and after the pro heroes saw Deku's new move, and they were shocked. He have that much firepower, but Night I think that was One For All's doing, because we know that One For All boost a quirk, but still that much. Then he looked at Deku and gave him a look that basically tell him, we need to talk. And with this, I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? What will happen with Deku and Night Eye's talk? What will happen since Eri is already saved and Overhaul is captured? What will happen next? Leave your thoughts in comments down below, and if you want another part of this series, 600 likes and I will make another part. And I apologize once again for not uploading, well, you know why. And if you're new, there is more videos like this coming. And like always guys, peace.